Prudencia, I haven't run into a lot of students from our campus who want to travel to African countries. Um, Maybe am I wrong about that, or is that a concept that gets maybe less attention from our school?
Well, I don't know about that, but I think a lot of people have interest in African countries, but it's just that they don't see a lot of Africans around to know more about what is going on. But I think UA has a very good program in the geography department. That a lot of I think there's one professor there that is from Ghana. He takes students to Ghana every summer for them to do some experiment there and learn some African cultures and different kind of stuff. So
Okay. You mentioned African culture. What do you think is the biggest difference between African culture and American culture?
um, I think Americans keep to themselves a lot as compared to Africans. We are free-spirited people, and one of the problem I have in Tuscaloosa, especially where I live, my neighbors hardly talk to me. When I talk to them, they don't respond, and it is a shock because in Africa you are free to visit anybody that you see, talk to anybody. So that's why I spend more time on campus than at home. Because when you go outside, you're walking around, people don't seem to talk to you.
Is there a community within the university community of students who are from African countries maybe? Is there like a student association? You guys get together because you're from Africa? I'm just curious.
I haven't been to one, but I know they have a lot of Nigerian students around, and a lot of students from Ghana, and a few from Cameroon. But I'm still meeting them since I've just been here. This is my second semester, so I'm still trying to find out what is going on. But I know they have a meeting, but I haven't been there. Yeah, so.
What is your message, if you were just going to pick one, to students who are considering maybe working with or befriending someone from another country? What do you tell them? Because that may be not the easiest thing to do.
Well, I always tell people to just speak to anybody you see. You know, we live in a society where people are too, people need to talk to people, but they are scared because they don't know what will happen. I have talked with a lot of people on campus. They are when I see somebody, hi, how are you? How is your day? We just start talking. Communication is good because a lot of people are lonely. They need friends. They need to be around people, but they don't know how to approach people because they are scared that, well, if I talk to this person, the person will not answer. How will, so we need to interact with each other, and the university, I like the University of Alabama because they have students from all over the whole place, and the way our war is turning now, the war is becoming a little peck, very soon we'll have people from all over in America, and we have to communicate with people, so it's very important to talk to people that you don't know. Move from our very little closet and, just talk to somebody that is from anywhere. You know.
Lulu, in the college engineering, there's been a great deal of growth. When I got here in 2003, none of what you see in that Shelby Hall existed.
Yeah.
And it's blown up, something like 4,000 students now, I think, in that college. It's way larger than our college. Does that make it difficult to be a student when there's so many students? And it's a pretty large complex just in your area of engineering.
In my mind, if there's more students, that means the college is get better, so it's not a problem for me. I think if there's a little students in engineering here, that means the program is not that good. If we increase the size of the buildings or facilities, that means the school pay more attention to the College of Engineering. To me, it's a very good news.
It's positive.
Positive.
Now, what area of engineering are you studying? Is it mechanical, electrical?
I'm in the mechanical engineering.
Mechanical, okay. Do you find that there are a lot of students from Asian countries who are studying there, that maybe the language barrier doesn't exist because you guys are in the same country?
Can I ask you a question again? I'm sorry.
Do you find that there are a lot of students in your mechanical engineering program from China so the language barrier doesn't exist because you guys all speak Chinese?
I don't think so because all the thing is teaching in English. So there's nothing. The barriers between English and the Chinese is not because of the technical part because everything is in English. So there's no barrier between the technical part. It's only the language part for the understanding.
Okay. And our reporters have some questions. I mean, I'm throwing questions out. What are you guys thinking about out there as we move forward here? Okay. Ashley.
Hello, my name is Ashley McCarty. I'm a student in this class, obviously. I have a question for you, and I don't want to mispronounce your
Prudencia.
Prudencia.
You can call me Pro, P-R-U.
Okay. Well, I'm very much interested in going to Africa later on in my life. However, I graduated in December. Are there any options for students who are approaching graduation or will soon graduate that are interested in going to Africa to study?
Well, I think they have I think I saw a flyer the other day at the geography department. They are planning to take students again this summer. And I think the best place to go is at the international office at BB Comma. I think they will have good information for you there. I think they have a program plan that they are planning for this summer for Ghana.
I have a flyer.
Zach, have either of you ever gone back to China or Cameroon in the time that you've been here, just for visit, or is it difficult not being away from your family and friends there?
I haven't been back to Cameroon because my mom lives in Ohio right now, and my dad came 2 years ago, and those were the people I would have loved to go see. And my brothers are also here too, so most of my family members are here. So, but we talk all the time with the other people that are back home, and sometimes when I think of going, the money to go, I can use the money to give the people who need it back there because a lot of people are struggling to go to school and all those kind of stuff. And just to pay the airfare is like $2,000 to $3,000 for a round trip ticket. And if you give that money can send like 200 students to school. So each time I plan to go, I think of, this can help people because I'm having an education year, so I can help people too back there by doing that. So, but I haven't had the opportunity to go back. And more to that, those of us that are out here studying, they know that we are being exposed to a lot of stuff. So the government too has a little problem with us coming back because even though we are here, we speak our minds. The president of my country has been in power for 30 years. And the country has not changed. So there's a bigger problem when we come out and we are going back. They have roadblocks for us going back. So
I'm curious if you actually I think Trey had a question. Trey, your hand was up.
How did you decide to come to America?
me? Well, I grew up in this city, and when I finished high school, I started doing some computer works. Then I was trying to look for schools. Cameroon is predominantly French and English. I think like 2 provinces in Cameroon are English. And so there are like 2 universities in Cameroon that are French, then 1 is English. And they don't have a lot of vacancies for a lot of students, so we have to look for other ways to go to school if we want to study in English. So that is one of the reasons that I came to the state, because I wanted to study in English, not French.
I have a question for all of our panelists. What's the biggest piece of advice that a student from UA should know before they study abroad at another place?
Well, before you go into any country, it is always important to know what is going on in that country before you go there. And it's also be open about embracing the culture, because the cultures are going to be different. things are going to be different. Way of dressing, things are going to be different. Be prepared to like listen to people because there will be the accent barrier, but just listen.
I guess I have to agree with that. Basically, be open to culture. Also, do expect culture shock. Like, I didn't think actually when I went to Japan that I was going to get culture shock at all. I got on the ground out of the bus and was instantly lost. And I was like, I'm like the only American within like 50 miles of this place, pretty much. And so do expect a little bit of culture shock, even though if you're not going to get it, you think, oh, I'm not going to get it, but you will get it, trust me. Yeah.
For my advice, it will be prepared for learn the new stuff that you never cross in your previous life. And as they said, be prepared for the culture shock. People will encounter that.
What about the cost involved? We haven't talked a lot about that. I can't imagine this is pretty expensive. I mean, are there scholarships? I mean, if you want to do this?
Well, I think going to Cameroon, going to Cameroon, the cost of going is very expensive, but the cost of living there is very cheap. But going is expensive. And when it comes to schools, I don't know if they have scholarships because I did not get any when I was there. So maybe things have changed now. You know, I can't speak for now. But we have very few universities as it is. So, and a lot of people are struggling to send their kids to school. Then the government don't care because most people are trained in Cameroon just to come out and work for the government. And so if your parents are not the bourgeoisies, you know, you can't get anywhere. So if you are going there, just put some money in your pocket. The cost of going is expensive, but the cost of living is cheaper.
I think knowing the currency was a little bit tough for me. Like when I went, yes, it did cost a lot because it's on the other side of the world. But I think knowing the currency and kind of during this kind of economy, it is kind of tough. When I actually was in Japan, it was 97 yen for a dollar, which isn't like, actually in Japan that isn't much. 97 yen is hardly anything really. So, but when I went after a week that I'd been there, it dropped like $10 yen from a dollar for 93 yen for a dollar to like 84 yen a dollar, and all of a sudden like my bank account like changed. So my entire budget changed and everything. So I think knowing that now is pretty expensive. Actually living in Japan is pretty expensive as far as, but I think one of the best things is UA will help you with that as far as even not just scholarships, but they will help you with as far as like paying tuition to there. Like they gave me great advice to the International Center as far as planning, to pay UA tuition to go there. So we didn't have to change my accounting or anything, my plans. But I guess just personal budget is kind of worrisome, and especially in this kind of economy. And in Japan, things are actually a little more expensive than they are than they used to be, I should say. So.
The cost in China. Before I came here, the same stuff I buy in China is cost less than America. But as 4 years passed, some stuff is cost equally when it's converted to the American dollar, even though convert to the American dollars. Because our currency with American dollars, like $1 American dollars can usually change 6 point some Chinese yuan. But the thing is, $1 can buy something here, but after convert to 6 Chinese money, it will not buy the same thing you get here. So the cost may be approximately the same, but I think the tuition will be cheaper in China.
questions before we wrap up? I do have one final question. Do you guys, having, even being from the US, do you have any thoughts about some of the world's news stories or even the presidential election or any kind of current news events that might have touched you personally because of where you're coming from, things that you look at differently because you're from Cameroon or you're from China or you've been to Japan, so you have a different perspective?